Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Nurhasanah. I want to tell you about my textbook review. The title is Creating and Maintaining Safe College Campuses by Jerlando F.L. Jackson and Melvin Terrell. This genre is reference. This textbook exists 14 chapters. The following chapters are Chapter 1. It focuses on general issues of campus security in higher education. In this chapter, includes history of laws review about safety legislation and the context for crimes on campus. And next chapter is Chapter 2. It concerns on increase of high-risk drinking in higher education, campus, and also university. So, it investigates the approach on college campuses in cultural safety of high-risk drinking. And next chapter is about violence and crimes that happen continuously without looking at gender. So, this chapter includes the history of crimes and also definition of violence and hate crimes in general, as well as happenings exhibited, and also the different for social behaviors from parties on campuses on students' mentality. Next chapter is Chapter 4. It discusses on the reasons of students who can beat each other in educational institutions. And then also they have some strategies for fighting in the other universities. And then Chapter 5, it focuses on environments, how to save the campuses for crimes and violence, especially transformation gender. And then this chapter suggests that people should have deep personal introspection, because it's very necessary for them to make themselves challenging. And then next chapter is Chapter 6. This chapter concerns on sexual violence against women on college campuses, because this chapter wants that the campus have supplying the program like a safety program in campuses for women. And next chapter is Chapter 7. It concerns on institutional facilities for students who want to access the higher education institutions, like demonstrating safety program in environments on the campus or universities. Next chapter is Chapter 8. It expands on communities in higher education, especially public issues of safety at the nations, like MSIs, minor serving institutions, and then HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, and the last is TCUs, tribal colleges and universities. And the next chapter is Chapter 9. It examines on critical of police agency with campus, and also to know the significant roles of campus police. And next chapter is Chapter 10. It covers on definitions of weapons, affecting the weapons, and the last is the weapons effects. At chapter 11, it presents the legal implications of crime for students as well as professionals, and also mostly this chapter discuss on law theories. Chapter 12 discusses on necessary to have the modern law on college campuses to make the reliable policy in educational institutions. And also, it examines how to measure about policy agencies' works and do practices sources. And then chapter 13, it focuses on the lack of training on college campuses, like campuses administrators, because it's very important to identify the best resources administrators to prevent the crimes on college campuses. And then the last chapter concerns on categorize of comprehensive elements of safety plan to prevent the intervention and prevention in institutional environments. Why I choose this textbook? Because I'm very interested in title. When I read this textbook, I believed that many hopes for college campuses in safety environments. Why I say that I say it like this? Because I'm very sure about the safety environments when the educational institutions have many improvements in systems, programs, and management from administrators itself or the campuses itself to develop the comfortability for students when they study there. And also, this textbook explains about the educational parties like lectures, especially for administrators, to identify which one the best resources for safety environments in educational institutions. So it's the best textbook for teachers or administrators in campuses to know this or to find resources for management in order to make the campus safe for crimes and violence. And it means I suggest you for as the readers to read this textbook because it's very recommended for you because to make the campus more comfortable from violence and crimes, especially for women, because these textbooks more explanations how the important for protections the women, and also the women have some strategies to make friends and then to supply the recommendations of safety environments, because you know that women are very sensitive to others, like people like new people and then new environments and anything about the top anything about relates to women's. So finally, I hope the readers can more analyze to this textbook, because it's very interested to know more about safety management in educational institutions. Moreover, this textbook is very useful for lecturers, administrators, and students who are interested in management education. And why? Because it means the educational parties must look forward to make the campus more comfortable to other students when the other students universities comes to universities that already accepted in the world. And then the administrators also important, because the administrators to make the prevention, it's very have references or sources to product the reliable policy and enjoyable for parties or educational parties when the other parties comes to the universities, especially like controlling the educational parties. When the other parties comes to universities, the administrators can see how they react about the safety environments and then safety services in campuses, college, and then they can make some critical analysis for comfortable the students when they study in the class and when they arrive to campus, and also the reliable policy for students and the educational parties on campuses, so they can more active as participants in educational institutions. Thank you for your attention.